Hey everyone, this is Richard. Thanks for joining us again at What's Spinning. So this is the official 10th episode. So we've made it 10 episodes in. Feeling pretty good about that. Hope you guys are enjoying what you're listening to. Hope you guys are spinning some good tunes out there. My most recent things I've been playing are, the self-titled debut album from the band Nerf Herder. Nerf Herder, of course, got their name from Star Wars, and they're kind of that '90s nerd rock, I guess, like early Weezer kind of was. But they got really popular in the mid to late '90s because they had a song called Van Halen, and it was kind of chronicled Van Halen as a band and talked about their albums, and then even talked about Sammy Hagar, and they blamed Sammy Hagar for ruining the band. And I think the funniest line to me from that song is, Dave lost his hairline, but you lost your cool, buddy. And that's what they're saying to Sammy Hagar. So it's kind of a funny song. I've always liked that one, but the album as a whole is pretty good as well. And then also listen to the Alice in Chains. It's kind of two EPs together on one double album set, and that's the Jar of Flies EP along with Sap. I guess those were released in between Dirt and their Facelift album, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was in between those. If not, it was right after Dirt. But either way, that's two EPs, and they're put together on a 2 LP set. So I guess it's 3 sides, and then the 4th side is just kind of an etched image on the back side. So anyhow, today I've got another guest, and that is my friend Brandon, aka JJ Blueflame. That's what he's known as with the music he's putting out. And he just released an album on all the streaming platforms, I guess probably about a couple months ago. So we got together, we talked about his work, and then also the influence that Jimi Hendrix has had in his life and in his musical direction, and then also discussed the album Electric Ladyland by Jimi Hendrix. So kind of keeping with our theme of top 500 albums off the greatest 500 albums of all time, Rolling Stones list, and Electric Ladyland was pretty high up on there. In fact, it was number 55 on the list. So this album is from 1967, and actually it was recorded in 67, released in 1968. And it was the final studio album. But Brandon and I get into that. Brandon I've known for probably about 3 years, and he's been doing music for quite a while. So it was fun to talk to him about what he's doing and the direction he's going, and then also to talk about this album. Wanted real quick to do a top 10 list, because it's been a while since I've done one of those. And keeping with our theme of Jimi Hendrix, I thought we'd do a top 10 list of Jimi Hendrix songs. Now, this list is coming from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's kind of the 10 essential Jimi Hendrix songs. So as usual with all of these lists, you may have your own list. You may disagree with the order of these, but this kind of just gives a little bit of guidance of things that generally people consider to be the 10 most essential songs by Jimi Hendrix. So at number 10, we have the song Machine Gun. And I don't know if you guys can hear that wind blowing in, but it's a windy day here, and it's kind of coming through the windows in this room, so it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. Sorry about that. Then up at number 9 on the list, and this is a song that Brandon and I talked about a little bit, it's the song Crosstown Traffic. So we both kind of talked about how it's not really along the lines of most Jimmy songs, but still worth taking a listen to, and number 9 on this list. Number 8, they have Voodoo Child Slight Return. The intro to that one, I'm sure everybody's heard at least once. Number 7 is the Bob Dylan cover, All Along the Watchtower. This is one of my favorites, which we also get into in our discussion. Number 6 is If 6 Was 9, off of Axis Bold of Love from 1967. Number 5 from that same album, Castles Made of Sand. That's a really good one. That kind of makes me think I'd like to talk about that Axis Bold of Love album as well, because it's got a lot of good ones on there. In fact, number 4 is a song that Brandon spoke of, which I didn't include in the interview because it didn't really fit along with other things that we were talking about, but it's the song Little Wing. In that clip, he talked about how that song kind of touched him emotionally and kind of, stirred up the emotions that music has a tendency to do. Number 3 is really good blues sounding song, the song Red House. I've always liked that one. I like the ending of it, especially because he's talking about it, how if you won't love me no more, maybe your sister will. So I always thought that was kind of funny. Number 2, Hey Joe. Hey Joe, where are you going with that gun in your hand? And at number 1, he's got The Wind Cries Mary. That's off of Are You Experienced from 1967. So that's our top 10 list of most essential Jimi songs. If you've got some that you feel didn't make that list, write in, let us know. Again, you can always email us at podcast@wildhogrecords.com or check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter with the handle @SpinningPodcast. All right, so I'm going to play you a little bit of some stuff that Brandon's been doing, and then we'll get into that interview that we recorded, and I hope you guys enjoy. I kind of know a lot of your story and background because I've talked to you a lot about this before, but I guess kind of start with at what point in your life you got into music?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, I've always been kind of musically inclined, I guess you could say. My mom, she plays piano, so when I was younger, she tried to teach me, but I didn't have the, I wouldn't say the aptitude, I just have the discipline, when you're trying to learn an instrument.
I hear you.
Dude, you gotta sit there. You need to practice. The bottom line.
Yeah.
So she did her best, but it kind of opened my world up into what the possibilities are in music. And then so time elapsed, and my parents again, nurturing me, bought me a guitar. Didn't play that either.
What age was that?
Man, I had to been like 13 or 14, I would say.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitar. I think they went to San Antonio, saw guitar and was like, hey, Brandon might want that. He's been talking about guitar. So it's probably, it wasn't anything expensive. It was made probably of cardboard or something. But I just remember setting it against the wall, and you're not supposed to do that, and the neck end up bowing, and so it kind of got messed up. But flash forward, many years later, as an adult, I kept it for sentimental reasons, and I remember just coming home having a hard day, and I sat down on the couch and I saw that guitar, and it had maybe 2 or 3 strings on it, of the original strings, strings never been changed.
Yeah.
And I started plucking around with it, man, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to play this thing. And so that's kind of how it all started. And then a couple of my homeboys were into, making beats and rapping and hip hop and stuff like that. So it was just kind of natural progression for me to kind of do my own thing as well. And rest is history. I started listening to Jimi. And so I went from not knowing how to play anything and then trying to learn Purple Haze. So you can imagine how well that went. So it just took a lot of time. And then I just remember having gobs of time because I was, I was in my early 20s, and I would spend when I could 6 to 8 hours just playing every day.
Wow.
Man, my fingers, the whole story, and with the fingers getting bloody and blistery and all that. And now here I am, man, and just kind of was a natural progression, just leading to one thing from guitar, then to producing music, because now you can do it all in a box, so you don't need a whole band or anything like that. And then I met some people along the way, and played in a band. We didn't really gig a lot or anything like that, but kind of played around in that for a little bit, and here I am, bro, with you.
Yeah, just it's funny, kind of just jumping into trying to learn Jimmy and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think it takes whatever motivates you and gets you jumping in. So that's cool.
Yeah, man, he's the ultimate motivator. I saw or heard first, and then of course I kind of knew a little bit about Jimmy, and then I saw he was black like me. I was like, "Whoa, that's dope!" So, can I be Jimi Hendrix? And of course not. But yeah, man, like Jimmy, he's probably. I mean, I know you play drums, so I'm sure you have your idol as well. But Jimmy, for guitarists, it's like that's the guy for most of us.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about the stuff you're doing now. And you put out that album recently, which I listened to, by the way. I think it's great.
You know what, man? Like, I appreciate you even listening. I have like 9 monthly listeners right now on Spotify. But the album, it's gotten some positive reviews. Like, it's really weird when I see people from other parts of the world listening.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, that trips me out, man. But the album itself, it's really just a collection. That's why I named it Vintage Collage. But it's just a collection of tracks that I've done over the past couple of years, and so it really didn't have like a like a specific theme that I was trying to reach for or anything like that. So it's just kind of, I would say, all over the place. But it was just kind of showcasing who I am as a producer. And so I was really excited about it, and it's available on all major streaming platforms, which is also really cool. So
Yeah, I think I was able to listen to it through Apple Music. So
yeah,
we've got that subscription, so I was able to. I guess that's not good for you since I'm just streaming it. I didn't like purchase it or anything. Or
well,
do you get stuff for that?
So it's really weird with the whole streaming. Like, yes, I do get paid, but before they cash out, like, you have to reach a certain amount, which I don't know what the dollar amount is.
Yeah.
But I could tell you, like, per stream, man, it's
tiny.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nominal. So it'll probably be like 30 years before I get like $5.
This random check will show up and you're like, oh yeah, I did that.
Oh yeah, I'll put this album out, man. I forgot. I'm almost dead, but it's all good. So I'm already like kind of working on my next album, and the next album will be not as disjointed. We'll definitely have some lyrics and a theme, all that, and take things a little bit more. I wouldn't say seriously, but just to the next level progression.
That's cool. Yeah. I think because I've known you for like 3 years, I guess, and so I knew that you had always worked on stuff. I didn't know that this was just kind of a collection of old stuff and not all new material. So that's cool that it gave you an opportunity just to put something out there and get started down that path, and now you can kind of focus on all new stuff.
Absolutely, because I was kind of just like selling beats, and I had this body of work that's just kind of sitting around, and I was like, just put out an album. Like, my wife, she was always telling me, like, you should just go ahead and just put out an album, just the instrumentals. And I was like, really? And I was like, well, I guess people do, they do that. So I went ahead, I went for it, and so far so good, man. Like, I haven't had any negative things happen. Everything's been really positive, so I'm excited about it.
Well, and even if there's negative things, you just got to ignore that. There's always those people out there.
Haters, man. That's what we call them. Haters. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you've listened to... So I've listened to a lot of musician interviews, and it always boils down to that, right? You just got to jump out there and do it.
Yeah, I'm just... It's a process, I'm just... anytime I can get exposure, there's a few services that I've signed up with to help me do that, and it's just about getting people to listen. Because right now, I'm not, this is not my source of income, so
sure,
it's not. I mean, I'm not saying that like I don't want it to be. Like, it'd be awesome if it was one day, and hopefully it will be. But right now, it's just more about letting the world see my art or hear my art, and hopefully they dig it, man, and keep coming back for more, because I know I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep making music until I can't anymore. So I'm excited about this album, and the next album. I'm hoping to have done, within the next like 6 months or so. But I'm really trying to take my time and make sure that it's exactly what I want to say. So
Yeah. So I heard you wanted to talk about Electric Ladyland.
yeah, man, definitely.
So I don't know if you want to set that album up at all, or I normally kind of go through where that falls within the catalog. Jimmy doesn't have an extensive catalog, unfortunately, because he left us too soon. But
Right.
yeah.
Well, what's weird about that is that he doesn't and he does. Because they keep releasing the same song that was like, this is the demo version of the demo version. So
yeah, this was the third and final studio album, but yeah, there's so much material out there, and it is kind of weird when they do that and
it is, man.
Find new ways to make money off of something.
Yeah, Electric Ladyland, or one word, or is that two words? Voodoo Child.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Voodoo Child is possibly, I mean, for me at least, is possibly the greatest rock song ever. I mean, I literally, when I heard that, like, felt all the emotion. Like, my hair was standing up, and I'm not exaggerating, man. Like, my hair was standing up on my arms. Like, I could not believe that I had never heard that song before. And I had heard, like, Purple Haze, All Along the Watchtower, some of the other proverbial songs that he made. But off of the Electric Ladyland album, which is full of classics. I mean, like, this is probably his most, as an album, his most complete album, far as like sonically taking advantage of everything in the studio, and all the effects and things like that. But this album is amazing, and Voodoo Child is second to none.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the effects and stuff, because I always think of on the song Crosstown Traffic, how it kind of has that weird like fading across sound to it.
It's this one of those songs that it's never been one of my favorite songs on that album, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. But it's a song that I often think about when I'm driving in Dallas traffic. So go figure.
I've always liked, so I like that one. I think I can pinpoint like why you don't like it, and it does sound more. It sounds more like radio poppy for the time, right? Because it's got like the backing vocals on it, which his songs don't really have a ton of that.
It's such a '60s song.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I imagine the Monkees, or were they '60s?
Yeah.
They sounds like kind of something they would even do.
Well, and I think that's it, right? It's less experimental. Like, all of his stuff was kind of pushing the envelope, and that one is just like, well, anyone could have done this one.
Yeah, exactly. I could have done that one. So. Yeah, so it's not one of my favorites, but anybody listening, still definitely go listen to that song. You need to know Crosstown Traffic. Just for the history of it. But the whole album is from start to finish amazing. The first title track, and the Gods Made Love. The Gods Made Love, yeah. That's amazing, man. Like, cause this album was made in the late '60s, and it stands up today.
Yeah.
If this album just came out today, other than Crosstown Traffic, every song on there, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So yeah, that's probably my all-time favorite album, mainly because of Voodoo Child.
Yeah, I guess there were three big singles off of it, and obviously they released Crosstown Traffic as a single, because why not? The one that I always love, and I'm not coming from guitar player mindset, but All Along the Watchtower for me, like, even though that's a Dylan tune, like, if you listen to Dylan's version, no, it doesn't even compare. Like,
dude, it's totally different.
Jimmy made the song what it is.
Yeah,
it's his version is awesome. I could listen to it all day.
And
in fact, I think that's one of my. It's up there in my favorite songs ever list.
Well, I'm surprised to hear you say that. Actually, I knew you like Jimmy, but I would have never thought that. But yeah, you're right, man. Like that song is sonically, it's amazing. I mean, the fact that it's so different. I mean, really, the words are the same, but it's a total different song than
Yeah.
than what Bob Dylan did. But I hear that a lot. A lot of people love that song.
Yeah, and I I normally try to not to not follow the popular opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't help it with that one. It's just every time I hear it, his guitar and then just just the sound effects on it as well.
And the lyrics.
And, yeah.
I mean, I know he didn't write them, but still, like that adds a lot to it. But what do you think of 1983? A merman I should turn to be.
It's been a while since I've heard it all the way through.
Well, you could be forgiven because the song is 13 minutes long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I totally understand that, but it's an amazing track as well. Just he takes you through so much in that song. It's got jazz elements, of course, the rock elements, and just some really abstract psychedelic sounds and chord progressions he goes through in that song. So if for anybody that wants to be taken off the regular beaten path of Hendrix, I would definitely suggest listening to that song because even though it's 13 minutes, I regularly have just rolled a fat one and and sat back and just checked it out, man, because it definitely takes you there.
Yeah, I need to play that one again, and I've gotten more to where I'll listen to like those longer tracks, but there definitely was a period where I was just like, I don't have time. I need to move on.
Yeah, especially the older you get, man. Like I got things to do. I can't sit around for 13 minutes.
It's funny because Jimmy's music for me, like, I do totally respect him as a guitar player. I love his guitar work, but the thing that also reels me in is being a drummer. Mitch Mitchell that plays on all of his stuff.
Oh yeah.
He's just wild and all over the place, and I love it. It's great.
He's amazing. He really is, and I think that he would have probably got more. He deserves more credit, honestly, than he gets, because playing with Jimmy and keeping time like he did, and the jazz style that he plays with. I mean, it's really amazing. And if he was with a lesser guitarist, he would probably, be considered even greater than he is as a drummer. So.
Yeah, so the other thing I like about this album is the original cover art that went with it. That it didn't end up being the cover that everyone's used to here in the U.S.
Are you talking about the Naked Ladies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Naked Lady cover. Mm-hmm. I actually found a copy. This was I don't know, were you there when I got it delivered? It was a copy of this with the original cover, and it had like clear vinyl for the actual albums. But
wow! But then the Naked Ladies, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are on the inside, right? They're not on the outside.
They were originally on the out. They were supposed to be on the outside, but then ended up getting banned because they saw it as pornographic and stuff.
Well, I'm looking at it right now, by the way. And, it's racy for today's standards.
It is.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they're like 60s ladies, right? So they don't look
very.
They don't look like today's ladies.
No, not at all, bro. Not at all. But I'm sure somebody is enjoying it somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not surprised they didn't get that one released here in America. But I like the one the one that was released, I guess, is the he's orange and like he's glowing. Yeah, I think that's pretty dope as well, though.
Yeah, I do like that, and I mean, it's got that kind of 60s feel to it, right? That it's all kind of even the parts that are like the negative part of the image is kind of almost brownish black.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
and it embodies to me like it what's the phrase? Picture's worth 1,000 words, but
yeah,
it embodies everything that he is. Like, I mean, he looks like he's on fire, and this guy is electric. You know what I mean? Which is weird because on stage he is, but off stage, from all the footage I've seen, and he's just like this kind of goofy, like shy guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which actually isn't too uncommon for a lot of performers.
It isn't.
Right? It's like they come alive on stage, but off the stage, it's like different person.
Yeah, it's really weird, man. Like, um, a lot of performers are like that, like you said. So, but yeah, this album cover is cool, man. It's almost it could be you could just hang the album up on your wall if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's one I would do. I thought about doing that once as like a wall of album covers, but because for me, I always talk about this too on the podcast. Is for me, that's what I love about vinyl and having the actual like the tactile part of it, right? Mm-hmm. Having the actual album and the artwork, and even with digital images, like that was always a big thing to me is to have the album artwork
Right.
on the digital music, and like I always wanted that stereo in my car that could display that because I don't want just the
It's
I gotta
lost.
have the full experience.
Yeah, dude. Like, I feel you. Like, it's really a lost thing because I have a whole bunch of. I mean, this is probably sound like a hoarder's mentality, but I have a whole bunch of old CDs that I will not throw away because of the album art and
Yeah.
the liner notes and all that. Like, as a producer, I try to like find information on like who played this, who did that, and
Yeah.
it's really hard. Harder than you would think having Google. Like, I have to really search, but back in the day, whether it be a vinyl or digital, it's real easy. Just pull out the liner notes.
Yeah,
You can see.
and I was always disappointed when I got the CD that was just like a single piece of paper that didn't have a lot with it.
Yeah, that's lazy. Yeah, they're getting lazy.
But when it was like that stapled booklet.
Yes.
So swinging it back around to this Jimmy album, is there any final thoughts you want to share about that?
I'll just say one last thing. Please check it out. Check out this album. Check out all his stuff. If you're not a big rock and roll fan, or you are and you just never really gotten to Hendrix, this is definitely a good album to get your feet wet, because it probably has a little bit of everything for everybody. And smart people listen to Jimi Hendrix. It's proven.
right.
It's science. Science.
Science.
So science, man, you can't dispute that. So yeah, check him out, and don't forget to check me out. I'm on all major streaming platforms. JJ Blueflame. The album is called Vintage Collage. Follow me on Instagram, JJ Blueflame, and there's a link actually in my profile to my album. And like and share.
Yes.
And if you're a producer or a singer, rapper, and you want to collab, please holler at me.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely say go check it out. So if there's a link on Instagram, that's even better. So go out to Instagram, follow him, and listen to the album. Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. This was a great chat about Jimmy and a great chat about your stuff.
Well, thank you for having me, man. I had a great time, and hope to do this again with you sometime.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Brandon, aka JJ Blueflame. Again, check out his album Vintage Collage. On the intro to that interview clip, I played the song If I Knew, which is track 6 on his album, and then coming back, I just got done playing the song Bella, which is track 2. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Definitely go take a listen, support him. One of the things that we did talk about ended up getting edited out, but we talked about how cool it would be to have other artists here on the podcast and help support them and grow their fan base and allow them to talk about their influences and maybe albums that were influential in their career. Also, don't forget, we're starting the series up soon where we are talking to various people who work at record stores across the country. We'll be recording some of those soon, and those will be coming out as new episodes. So please keep an eye open for that, and let me know anything else that you might want to hear about. All right, so let's wrap this up. Talk about some new arrivals. Haven't really had a ton of new arrivals lately. I've been trying to slow down the purchases because we've got Record Store Day right around the corner. So some of the most recent things, let's see, I did mention the Nerf Herder album. Definitely one you should go check out. It's not highly available on vinyl, but you never know when you'll come across stuff. So if you ever see that sitting in a record store, grab it. It's definitely worth it. Other than that, though, let's see here. Oh, there is one I was going to tell you guys about. I came across a live album of Save Ferris. Now, I know I recently had the Press These Please episode, or the shortened episode, and on that was an album by Save Ferris. Oh yeah, there were 2 albums by Save Ferris on there. But in researching that, I found out that there was on vinyl a live album by Save Ferris. Well, I say it's Save Ferris. There's a little bit of arguments about that online because it's not the same band that recorded those first 2 albums. The only remaining person is the singer Monique. But she went out and got a bunch of other musicians to play with her, and the sound is the same because they're playing the music note for note, and it's her voice that kind of pulls it all together. So I think it was recorded in 2016 in Santa Monica. Pretty good live album, and it came in like this pink blob swirl color vinyl. I believe I got it online. I can't remember the site now. I think it's through Hardline Entertainment, but they had a few copies available. I think they may have had the pink blob and the blue blob. And I didn't remember seeing this when I ordered it, but it is actually signed by Monique and hand numbered. So that's kind of a cool touch as well. But I got that maybe last week, took a listen to it right away. It was very good recording, and all the songs sound the same to me. And it's nice to have that the live energy and those songs on vinyl. So definitely recommend that one if you are like me and into like that 90s ska sound. And even if you're not, I think Save Ferris is a band that you can kind of venture into that genre with, because I think they appeal to a wide range of audiences. So take a listen to that. That's all I got for you, though. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you guys later.